Hello and welcome back. Susan Zummo here, intuitive and originator of soul patterning harmonics. Well, March energies are certainly intensifying, aren't they? Everything is heating up, everything is moving forward, everything is intensifying. I can't think of a better word to describe it than that. Intense energies, intense experiences, intense clearing, just everything, right? So here we go. We are headed into the end of March, the beginning of April, and we're going to see lots of shifting taking place within us and in the world around us. So before we get into this week's message, thank you again for all of the comments, likes, sharing, subscribing. Really helps to get the message out, and it helps the channel so much. So thank you. So today, the Galactics had a very different kind of message today, and I found it to be unusual. They started to talk to me about cars, and they used the analogy of a car being a vehicle which does not move or take action until a consciousness, an individual, inhabits it and causes it to move in a certain direction. They said there are people, beings in human bodies on this planet who are like cars. Those vehicles are empty, and there is no consciousness inside of them moving them in a certain direction or causing them to act in a certain way. They are, I was told, like remote control vehicles. There is a consciousness moving them and directing them, but it is not inhabited inside the vehicle. There is not a soul inside that body. And I thought that was pretty unusual for them to be talking about something like that, because they usually don't go in that direction. And they did want me to talk about it today because from what I understand and from what I was given, we are going to be encountering more and more of these individuals as we move forward into this year. And I thought that was very interesting. I was told that these beings, these bodies, are controlled by a consciousness that is remote control using those vehicles to do the things that these other consciousness would like to have done. I had the feeling that they were malevolent and that they were not beings that we would want to interact with, or that could possibly be so devoid of humanity and emotion that they may cause mischief or trouble, even if they're not malevolent. They are, what I heard, are placeholders. And so these voided or vacant vehicles that are being remote controlled are something that we want to recognize. Because if we are across from someone like that, or interacting with someone like that when we're out in the public, or say at a store, or maybe in a group, we want to be able to know what we are dealing with. And they told me that your intuition and my intuition will cause our little antennas to wiggle and let us know who we are dealing with if we pay attention and don't rationalize that away. Does it mean that we need to run from them in fear? No. What it means is that when you are interacting with a vehicle that has no driver in it, and you get that funny something's off feeling, or something's kind of weird feeling, or I'm not exactly sure what's happening here feeling, pay attention to it. I asked them, why would you bring this up? Because we do not want to cause fear in others. And this could be very fearful. And they kind of smiled at me and said, you have the spark of creator source within you. You are a body that is ensouled with the spark of the Creator. You have nothing to fear. You are sovereign, and you are strong and powerful. What is there to be afraid of? There is nothing to be afraid of. You are unique and therefore have no fear. Be aware of where you are in the world and what you are dealing with in the world, but there is no need for fear. Then they went on to say, it is so interesting to us how much you, meaning humans, love to create fear. You enjoy fear, and many of you are addicted to the sensation of fear because of the it causes in your body and in your emotions. They said, think of all of the horror movies, all of the frightening scenarios that you all love to play out, and how you feed on that fear as part of an addiction. Now, I have to admit, I don't like horror movies. I do like thrillers, though, and I like the tension of a thriller and a good ooh, that comes with that. But I don't indulge in that very often. There's a frequency in there of fear, and it is a frequency that I choose not to bring into my body and not to hang out with very often. But there are many of us who are not experiencing the emotions that we desire. We are not fully open in the heart area and experiencing deep love or deep emotions or deep connection. And that oomph of fear, that jolt of fear, makes us feel something intense. And many of us want to have the experience of feeling something intense. To feeling an intense emotion, it causes us to feel alive. There are, they said, many ways to create that feeling in the body that do not need to come from fear or negative emotions. Elation, excitement, joy, create all of those intense emotions in the body. They may not be as easy for some of us to experience and create, but you can create that feeling that you want to have in your body from a positive aspect. Your body, your emotions react to fear in the same way that they react to extreme surprise, extreme joy, extreme happiness, extreme moments of connection to source and others, extreme moments of touching into your own soul. And those moments are what we should be seeking. And I know I used the should word, but I'm going to tell you that this is something that we will want to pursue and chase after. Create positive emotions in the body. Animate your body with excitement rather than anxiety and fear. There are so many positive, intense emotions, especially love and connection, that we can bring into ourselves and into our world, rather than chasing the macabre, the gross, and the horror that can be created and give us that thrill. And that's something that we want to think about ourselves and stop creating that in our lives, right? So yeah, go ahead and watch the occasional spooky movie, right? But when you start to feel that frequency begin to take hold, and you're looking over your shoulder, and you're jumping at sounds in the house, and you're afraid to go into the corner of the room, that should tell you that it's time to take a step back. It's time to move into something a little more positive and a little more uplifting. You may experience those same feelings when you encounter an empty vehicle with no driver, or an empty vehicle that is being remote controlled by a driver that you choose not to interact with. Pay attention to your feelings. Pay attention to the source of your feelings and honor them at all times. You do not have to explain yourself to anyone. You can excuse yourself from a room. You can excuse yourself from a conversation. And you can step back and remove yourself from any situation that you want or need to. And we should definitely do that when our little antennas are wiggling away. So that's the message for this week. Please do not go into fear. Stay in a solid, internal, strong place connected to your higher and have no fear. We are unique sparks of Creator Source. We have something that no other vehicle on the planet has, and we need to recognize it and honor it at all times. So next week we'll talk about April frequencies and see what that holds for us. But in the meantime, as always, I wish you many blessings in the week ahead.